Hello guys, and welcome back to another Tweaker Man video. In this video I'm going to explain to you how I built these speaker stands. Okay, so these are the speaker stands I designed and produced myself. Now I'm going to show you some speaker stands that I used to make when I run my audio business. So there'll be a photo that will come up of those. But I put a lot of thought and a lot of time into making these. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off this speaker off the top of it and just rest it on top of here for a minute. Okay, now we're going to start from the underneath upwards. Now these are made of granite. Okay, they're about 16 mil, I think, maybe 18. I think they're about 16. And basically these are just granite chopping boards you buy, and they measure 400 by 300. So basically that's just the standard size as they come. Now these tops are one of those, and I cut them down with an angle grinder. So basically I've cut this down to 270 by 200 mil. This is and then they're really heavy. So basically I'll put that back there for a minute. Oh, actually we'll turn it upside down a minute. Underneath I made some solid oak blocks, and I banged on some big dome upholstery nails underneath them. Now this floor in here is really level, so I didn't need to put any spikes on the underneath, but if you wanted to put some spikes underneath you could. So basically in these granite chopping boards I had to drill 2 holes in them using a diamond drill bit, because a masonry bit won't drill through these, it will just scatter around on the top. So you put it inside a pillar drill. So we've done that. You can see where the little pads were, these are just chopping boards you put on your kitchen worktops. But I phoned up a couple of companies to get a price on some pieces of granite to make these, and they were ridiculous money, so these work out really well. So basically all I did was I cut these down with an angle grinder. Okay, and then I just polished the sides up just with some varnish. Okay, I rubbed them down. Believe it or not, it came out pretty well. I sanded those with 60 grit sandpaper vigorously. That it takes ages, but anyway I got a pretty good finish on them. So now that's the top and the bottom plate. Now let's put it back there again for me. So basically you were wondering what the columns are made from. They're made from this, which is a UPVC soil pipe. Okay, 110 mil basically, and all we did is we plugged the top and bottom with some 40 mil oak kitchen worktop. Okay, so all we did is we cut a sliver off of the pipe, and we offered it up on top of the kitchen worktop, off cuts, just drew round it, cut it out on a bandsaw, and then we fitted it in there, banged it in the top, made it quite tight. First of all, we roughed up the inside of the pipe there with some 60 grit sandpaper. Then I ran a load of araldite around the top of it, banged it down in there, and took it about 4 mil under all around, because we're going to fit a gasket in there. And then basically all we did is we just drilled loads of holes all around and put screws in there. And then we did the same to the other end. But first what we did is we sand filled them with dry sand. And the sand we used is this type of sand that you brush into block paving when you have your driveway block paved. So it's kiln dried sand. You don't really want to use wet sand because it just doesn't give the same dampening effect as dry sand does. So effectively we've got 2 pipes filled with sand, basically blocked up each end with a piece of round solid oak 40mm, all screwed in. We just used some black vinyl, a level look black vinyl, and we wrapped it round and we spray glued it down, and when it came to the top we wrapped it over and pulled it down and glued it round the top. And then all we done then is we offered two of them up, so I made two for each stand back to back, and we basically just screwed a big bolt, these bolts here, straight through the holes that we drilled into the solid oak and bolted it down. Now what we did is we put some Zorbophane, which is a polymor. It's like a polymor rubber, but it's not really rubber, it's more, it's called a polymor, and we used a 4mm piece of polymor in there. And what it does is it effectively dampens it again, so it's stopping vibration coming through the top. So that's how we made them. And now we're using these polypods, and they're from a company called D-Flex Audio. So we're using those on the top plate as well, so the speaker can sit on the top of the stands, and they work really well of dampening, extra dampening as well. So that's how we made them. So I mean, although I haven't showed you you haven't watched me build them, I just thought I'd do an explanation of how I've made them, and they work really well. So and basically they're not that expensive. So these granite chopping boards work out about £10 each, £10 in UK money. The soil pipe works out to about £10. And then you've got your sand is probably about £7. I mean, the whole thing can be built for about £45. These are a bit more expensive. They work out about £17 for 8 of them. So that's that. And I'm extremely pleased with the outcome. They've made these speakers sound far better than those Mission stands I was using before. And you don't get any ringing with this as such, like you do with metal. And you might think it's plastic, but it's very rigid. You can't bend it, and it doesn't bow very well. And once the oak bits are in the top, it really firms it up and makes it really strong. So so that's that. And these are really heavy. I tell you, they're really heavy to lift. They've got a lot of mass in those, so they make a really nice set of stands. So yeah, that's how I made them. So I hope you like that. Obviously I haven't shown you how to build them, but I've tried to do an explanation of how I've made them. So thanks for watching another Tweaker Man video. If you like the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new.